So our second logical operator is going to be AND. So this is another definition right here, and this is, if you want to call it properly, the conjunctive, but usually we refer to it as AND right here. So the definition of this logical operator is as follows. For P and Q propositions, P, a little caret, Q, the way that you read this is read P and Q, or if you want to sound really fancy, you could say the conjunctive of P and Q, but usually you just say P and Q right here is the proposition both P and Q are true. So both P and Q are true. And that is the conjunctive. So once again, truth tables will help us to be able to understand this logical operator. So here, this compound expression has two variables inside it. So to represent it in a truth table, we are going to have two columns for our variables. We have a P and we have a Q, and then we have our compound expression P and Q right here. And to do our truth table, once again, we're going to have to give all the possible values of our variables for P and Q. So here I've listed all the possible combinations of values for these variables right here, P and Q. Now let's go ahead and see what the value of this compound expression is going to be. So the definition says both P and Q are true. Well, in this row right here, P is true, Q is true. So yes, indeed, P and Q, or the conjunctive of P and Q, is true. If P is true and Q is false, then P and Q, that's going to be false. If P is false and Q is false, well, they're not both true, so this has to be false. And in the last example, neither of them are true, so it is also false right here. So in our examples over here, if we were to look at these particular propositions, let's go ahead and see what these different compound expressions would look like if we combine them up with this conjunctive, this and right here. So if P was defined to be the value of the proposition 1 plus 1 equals 2, and Q is the proposition 1 plus 1 equals 3, then in this particular example right here, P and Q would represent the proposition both 1 plus 1 equals 2 and 1 plus 1 equals 3. So this would represent the proposition and you'll notice that this particular propositional variable right here, the way we've defined it, has a truth value of true, and this propositional variable has a truth value of false. So this conjunctive, P and Q, is a proposition that both 1 plus 1 equals 2 and 1 plus 1 equals 3, that is false. So in this particular instance, we would say this has a truth value of false.